Hi guys, welcome to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to show you how you can win without any carries. So today's video, I was an idiot and I did not record the audio. So instead I'll be playing some soothing and calming background music for you while I commentate the game. Alright, so first thing you need to know is that no carries build can actually work. They are actually quite strong if you are playing it correctly. Okay, and the thing is that for no carries build, you're actually relying on your heroes to do spell damage, spellcasters, and you need to use attack free medals and follower medals efficiently for you to actually win the game. The trick here is to delay the game as long as possible. So you need heroes that provide survivability, such as necrophos. Yeah, so this is actually a fairly advanced strategy. So if you need the time to learn, take as much time as you need to rewatch the video and learn the various hero compositions, item builds, and hero lineups. Because if your hero lineup is not optimized and it's not good for this attack free strategy, then you would fail quite badly. So please take the time to watch and rewatch if you have to. Learn, ask questions on YouTube channel if you need to. I will gladly answer them and help you along the way. Yes, so let's look at the hero pool for now. So I think the hero pool, let me just rewind back again to show you the hero pool. As you can see, the hero pool here, we have Tinker, Skywrath that I've chosen as my spellcasters. I have Necrophos as my hero to provide survivability by healing my team. Jakiro early game DPS. I chose a Hoodwink as well for early game DPS. Mirana is really good as a frontliner. You will see why later. And I picked Lina as my backup plan in case I needed a carry later. Yeah. So early game there is nothing much to see. For me what I did was just rolling heroes, taking out Hoodwink for damage because he has very strong early game potential. And yeah, let me just fast forward to speed 2, and then yeah, this is just the boring part. We will just skip past the boring parts. So the thing about playing an attack free build is that you need to be careful about jumpers. There are some jumpers that are very dangerous for your lineup, such as Centaur or maybe a jumping Night Stalker with empowered because of Magnus. Yeah. Assassin medals against you, Faceless Void. Those are heroes that are quite scary because they can actually lock you down and burst you down. But I guarantee you, if you are able to survive past their burst and BKB refresher, you'll be very rewarding because you would definitely be able to win any lineups once you are able to survive past them. So here you can see I took out my Tinker early and disabled Laser, gave him a few mangoes because I just want him to cast his rockets and missile. So much of the machines and rockets to deal damage. Laser is only single target now, and I will not enable laser until I get my Aghanim Scepter. So before Aghanim Scepter, I will just disable the laser because he is running into a lot of mana problems early game. Yeah. So as you can see, I took the free hero ability reset talent, as like I mentioned in my guide. I always take that because it allows me to roll the talent that I need. So as you can see, I started rolling for talents that for heroes that I'm not even using yet. So when you have time, you can start rolling your talents so that you can just take it out immediately. Yeah. Shakiro is really good early game because Macropire deals a lot of damage. You just need to give him an Aghanim and he can easily burst down the enemy team. With Aghanim he deals pure damage, so that's a lot. Yeah, there's one thing here is that I screwed up. I did not have enough gold to actually go and supply to actually rotate my heroes out, so I'm stuck with these heroes. Yeah, so I'm just hoping that I don't lose too much health here because of my mistake. Luckily I didn't. I only lost like 8 health, so that's fine. That's okay for me. Yeah, so I continue rolling here. Started rolling for Hoodwink's talent. I was also rolling for a Puck because I was afraid that if I was facing another attack-free lineup, I will need a Puck to silence them. Because when you're playing attack-free lineup, your heroes mainly deal damage from spells. So if you're able to silence them permanently with Spell Prism, Altering Core, its Waning Reef will actually silence them almost permanently. So this would actually make them quite useless. So as you can see here, I have a Mirana set up in front. I wrote the talent for the 3 arrows. So the reason why I do this is that if you're lucky, when you shoot the 3 arrows, there might be a chance for your Mirana to actually hit 3 targets with the arrow. But I have to be front, of course, and it has to be in the first row, because the further the arrow goes, the more the arrow will split up. So always put him in that position that I had at the top here, in the first row in the center. That will be the best position. I got a Winter Wyvern because I was afraid of the enemy jumping into my backline. So Winter Wyvern with Winter's Curse and Refresher will actually stop them from coming back and delay them quite a lot. So Tinker would be my early game DPS with its Rocket and Missile. Rocket and March. And early game I would have a Skyraft Mage for its damage, and also a Lina if I need to for its ulti, and right click damage as well. That is more like a backup plan, but I don't actually intend to play Lina if I can. So the reason why attack free builds are so strong is that they are mainly built based on cast range. Cast range is very important for them. The further cast range you have, the higher chance of you winning the fight, because most of the time spellcasters have really high cast range, and their cast range is higher than the range carries attack range. So when this happens, you're able to attack safely and walk back safely using attack free medal, which means that you are always safe as long as you have a tank in front or you have some sort of distraction. So for me, I have Winter Wyvern Curse, which will actually force them to attack each other. That is my distraction. Another way was to use Churn with the Aghanim Scepter, which would actually persuade Ancient Creeps. But the thing is that Ancient Creeps would get destroyed by Tiny's 3 volley so quickly. That's why I decided not to. As you can see here, Mirana actually hit 2 targets with its arrow. So this could only be done with a Mirana front lane, and it's actually quite strong. So over here I got my Tinker Soul Ring and Aether Lens to give it more mana as well as cast range. I gave it a Glimmer Cape as well, so that you'll take much less damage from magic damage. Yeah. Normally I wouldn't get a BKB for Tinker, but since they dropped one for me, might as well. And it's also pretty good this game because there are quite a lot of magic bursts this game. So one BKB duration should be able to allow Tinker to cast most of his spells, and this will actually be able to deal quite a significant amount of damage to them. Yeah, and by the time my BKB is up, most of them should have been dead and Tinker should be safe. Got the early Bloodstone as well to stack up some charges and for the mana regen. I should have gotten a few mangoes here because Tinker ran out of mana. Yeah, so far the game is going alright. Those players who are playing range carries would be no problem for me because, like I mentioned, I have further cast range, and because of that, it is easier for me to deal damage to them because they will never be in attack range for them to deal damage. So since I have a Guardian for my Tinker now, I would enable my laser, as it is more cost effective now for its mana cost. And now I can see people building Tiny. Tiny will be a problem because more of my heroes are magic based actually, so it's really hard for me to do damage. I need a Tiny to use its BKB and refresher before I can actually do damage. Another way is for me to have Winter Wyvern, which I would use later to curse Tiny. I got a Horizon here, which isn't very useful, and I wouldn't want to roll it because I would be going to roll for either Telescope or Seer Stone, which is more important. I need a cast range, so I think I'm going to sell this tier 1 item later. I got a delayer so that my Tinker will be further behind and will not be hit by Tiny's 3 volley. As you can see, it is able to dodge the 3 volley. Yeah, so once the BKB finishes for Tiny, my Tinker is able to perma hex the opponent's carry. So all is good. Got a Satanic drop here, which isn't very useful, but I can just use it for my Hoodwink for now. So far the only lineups that are causing me trouble is Morphling and Tiny, so I'll need a way to fight against that, and the way to fight against that would be to use an Abyssal Blade. Which I'm going to buy later, not yet. Alright, so I got an early Aeon Disc refresher for my Winter Wyvern because, like I mentioned, I don't have any tanks or frontline, so I need that extra distraction so that my Tinker don't die so easily. Yeah. So yeah, I ran out of mana here. That's a very big problem. If not, I would have definitely be able to kill the Morphling. Okay, as you can see, I already have a Followers Medal on Necrophos. The Followers Medal allows Necrophos to follow the Tinker and allows Necrophos to cast some items on Tinker to protect it, like Glimmer Cape. So when Glimmer Cape is cast on Tinker, Tinker will be invisible while casting spells on and off, which means that he is not so easily targetable by enemy heroes. And also later I'll be getting Lincolns and Altering Core so that Necrophos can spam Lincolns and Glimmer Cape on my Tinker. And also Necrophos will be able to spam heal with Altering Core. So here my Winter Wyvern only managed to cast ulti once and then he died because I did not get BKB. If I BKB, it will be easier for Winter Wyvern to cast a double ulti. Yeah, so if you guys are wondering, Phantom Lancer and Outwarden are both temporarily removed from the game because there was a patch where it actually caused the game to crash. Yeah, so I'm sure these two heroes will be back soon, but at the moment not now. The Nether Shell is a very good item for Tinker because it increases the spell amplification and gives it extra magic resistance, which is really good as well. So let me just talk a bit about my Tinker build for now. You can see that there's an Echo Lens. We also have Force Boots. Force Boots allows it to push itself back, and every time it rearms, you rearm Force Boots so that you'll be behind. Yeah, it's for it to stay away from enemy heroes and be safe from the fight. If there's an enemy jumper, you would force back and be closer to the fountain every force boots cast. And I got Glimmer Kit, BKB, Aether, Refresher, Aeon, as well as Assassin Medal for my Winter Wyvern so that it is able to get off its double ulti all the time. So the target for my Winter Wyvern's ulti would actually be Skydraft Mage and Tiny, because those are the heroes that do the most damage. Yeah. So right now you can see that I gotten my signature Abyssal Blade on my Tinker. Tinker Abyssal Blade is really strong because Abyssal Blade is able to pierce through BKB, and while casting Abyssal Blade in Dawn of War, it will not actually push the hero forward, or neither is it melee range. It is actually about 5 to 600 range Abyssal Blade, and with Aether Lens it has a greater range than that. So it will just cast Abyssal Blade on the enemy, and the enemy will be stunned through BKB, as you can see here. So I'm actually disabling the Morphling through Abyssal Blade and Hex. So the only time frame where they can win is if they kill my Tinker within their BKB refresher, because once their BKB runs out, the battle is mine for the win. Mars is also a good hero, but not against my lineup, because Mars Arena prevents projectiles from dealing damage within the arena or passing through the arena. As you can see here, my lineup is fully magic damage, so it does not really matter to me. Mars does not really matter to me at all. So I got a Lincoln, which is good. I can put a Winter Wyvern. I got a Mirror Shield, which isn't very good. So I needed more cast range. Decided to go for a Seer Stone roll. It took me 7 rolls. Fairy Trinket is very good, but I needed the cast range, so I had no choice but to roll. Finally got a Seer Stone for my Skydraft Mage, so it's time for me to build my Skydraft Mage. I decided to break the Deso here for BKB because I'm not playing a right click build and I have no carries, remember, so there's no point in me reducing their armor, and there's no point in Hoodwink doing right click damage as well since I'm purely magic. So I'm going to break his Deso for BKB later. I delayed my Skydraft Mage as well because, like I mentioned, I do not want it to be caught in the AoE of Mars ulti or Lina's ulti or Tiny's 3 volley. Right here, right now I swapped Altering Core and put Altering Core into Skydraft Mage because Skydraft Mage needs the cooldown reduction, but Tinker does not need a cooldown reduction because he has rearm. He will rearm all his spells and items, so all he needs is Aether Lens, which is the cast range, and upgrading to Altering Core for Tinker is a waste of money. He does not need the additional cooldown reduction. Okay, so right now I'm going to change my Hoodwink to a support. My Hoodwink now will have a follower medal following my Skydraft. Yes, you will have a Glimmer Cape as well. So it's quite similar to how I'm playing my Necrophos followers medal to protect the Tinker. In the same way, my Hoodwink will be a support and actually protecting my Skydraft Mage. Yep, so now I'm breaking it for a BKB. And a Glimmer Cape. And a Follower's Medal. And I got a Wind Waker for Skyruff as well because the additional intel means more damage. And also, Wind Waker would allow my Skyruff to be more elusive. It'll be way harder to actually burst out my Skyruff with the Wind Waker. The reason why I didn't get Bloodstone or any magic lifesteal for Skyruff Mage is because I have a Necrophos there healing my team, and so far Skyruff Mage does not seem to be dying yet. But if I notice that Skyruff Mage requires more survivability, yeah, then definitely I will get a Bloodstone even if it's late in the game. Or I can just transfer my Bloodstone. No, actually Tinker needs Bloodstone as well, so I probably can get another Bloodstone for Skyruff Mage, or just give it an Eternal Shock. But as of now, he seems fine. I don't have to change anything. Yeah, so as you can see, Tinker is actually doing a really good job here of disabling the enemy's jumper. They can't get to my backline because of the Abyssal Blade and Hex. I was thinking of going for Beastmaster initially, but I wouldn't need the additional attack speed aura that Beastmaster gives, and his ulti actually has a really cooldown is actually fine, but I don't really need the attack speed aura, and I don't really need the X because I have damage from Tinker and Skyruff already, and it'll be very greedy for me to build another Beastmaster as carry, spell DPS. So as you can see, his Morphling jumped in and just got destroyed by my Tinker Abyssal Blade. Wing is still doing decent damage with a Follower's Medal. With the second spell, actually is able to stun the opponent, and his ulti is actually free burst damage, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. As you can see, my Skyruff Mage damage actually exceeds the Tinker already. Skyruff actually a very strong late game magic carry. So the reason why this lineup works is because Skyruff is able to scale well into late game with intel. Aghanim Shard gives it intel every time it casts a spell as well. So he always has plenty of intel and damage. So the reason I lost this round was because our lineups don't actually match well. The guy was playing all jumpers into the enemy's tiny, and it was really hard to win. Okay, maybe I'll slow down during the 1v1 stage. So my Mirana only has 2 items, Aeon Disc and a Sentry Ward. That's all. Now I took out another Jakiro because I needed more slots. And Jakiro is actually decent. When the opponent's BKB runs out, the Ice Puff is actually a very good disable as well. But Jakiro's damage late game is actually quite low because late game is all about burst damage, and Jakiro does not really have much burst damage. Instead, he provides damage over time, which is really good for the 2v2 stage, but during the 1v1 stage, his damage is quite lacking. So if you want to pick Jakiro, I'll recommend you to swap him out late game, or just use him for the Ice Path. Shiva's Guard provides quite a good amount of intel, so I decided to put it on Skyruff Mage because Skyruff Mage scales its damage based on intel, so that's a good thing. More intel, more damage for Skyruff. So I decided to remove the layer because I've Winter Wyvern to actually hold them down, and I want my Scarab and Tinker to actually get to the fight as early as possible to do damage. Here I'm starting to roll a churn for heals because I thought that I might have some issues with ability against Tiny. And I roll for a Puck as well to stop his Night Stalker and Tiny from moving forward. So here I decided to just Assassin Medal is Tiny, since his Tiny will be the main damage dealer. Once Tiny is taken out of the picture, it will be an easier battle for me. So as you can see here, Mirana's arrow actually hit 2 targets, Night Stalker and Winter Wyvern. And my Winter Wyvern actually ulted Tiny twice, as you can see there, and we just took out its Tiny without Tiny doing any damage. Scarab and Tinker is still spamming their spells, so it's all good. So at this point I thought that I would lose because Night Stalker is actually jumping to my back line, and my Necrophos and my Tinker was going to die. So it was basically 1v4, 1v3, just my Scarab versus 3 to 4 units. So I got quite lucky because my Scarab BKB at the last second, and I was able to kill his Night Stalker. So during this 1v1 and I'm at Fountain, it's a very easy win for me. Yep. So this is how you play a no carry lineup with just spellcasters attack free build. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to my video and my channel. Thank you so much guys for watching. Any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. I enjoy responding to you and I always respond to every comments. Yeah, so see you again next time. Bye bye.